Hey guys, what's up? I have not, oh man, we have all kinds of stuff going on. Okay. Hi guys, Lauren Golden here. I'm so excited. I have not gone live on YouTube in forever. Hey guys, what's up? Oh, and I'm gonna have it playing back too and everything. Oh man. There we go. Okay. If you jump on live, first of all, say hello. Let me know that you're here. I have not streamed from Zoom to YouTube in a hot minute. But as I was getting ready for today's episode of Free Mama TV, I decided that I wanted to actually stream today's episode live because I think this is a really important conversation because it is both easier and harder than ever before to start an online business in 2024. So I'm hoping that some of you guys will come chat with me and ask your questions, and we can have a whole conversation about what it really looks like to start an online business. And specifically, if you're new to me, you're new to the Free Mama, hello, my name is Lauren Golden. I'm the founder of the Free Mama movement. I have taught tens of thousands of women how to start online businesses since 2017. I have been self-employed for almost a decade, which feels crazy because it makes me feel old and reminds me how old my kids are. My youngest is 7, and I started the Free Mama movement when she was an infant. And my oldest is 12 and my middle is 10. And I started looking for at-home opportunities between the two of them. So when I was a new mom, when they were babies, was when I first started Googling how to make money online. That's when my whole story began with all of this. And a lot has changed. I'm just going to tell you from 2014 to 2024, as I'm sure that you can imagine. And in some ways, this makes getting started online, specifically as a service provider. So I teach freelancing. Freelancing is kind of like a job, except you're not an employee, but you're still providing a service. So a lot of people in our community do things like virtual assistants, which might be like executive administrative type tasks, copywriters, bookkeepers, graphic designers, funnel builders, which is like website design. There's so many different things that you can do. And one of the most fun things about starting an online business is that you don't even know what you don't know. So things like YouTube management, podcast management, and there's new things all the time. You know, TikTok didn't exist when I first started, and now there are people building online businesses, not just as TikTok stars, but as TikTok video editors behind the scenes. So truly, there is no shortage of opportunity. And we're going to get to how in some ways it's actually harder, but we're going to start by why it's easier than ever before. And the first is just the technology and tools, the resources that are around. So many of them are free or have free versions. We don't have these huge barriers to market ourselves. You can build an entire business connecting with other entrepreneurs through networking on social media. You know, your social media account is basically a billboard, and things like Facebook groups are ways for you to go network at absolutely no cost to you whatsoever. You don't have to go to an in-person, thing in your area to try to connect with other business owners anymore. It's really quite accessible for you to get started, not just put it with your own business and putting yourself out there and your marketing and your sales, but also leveraging some of these tools. So I mentioned TikTok, people building businesses off of editing TikTok or podcasts or YouTube channels. There are people who are becoming experts in online platforms that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't, depending on where you're at in your journey, but things like Honeybook or ClickFunnels. There's all these websites that you can literally learn and master, and people will pay you to come in and run that part of their business for them. So in that way, it is so much easier than it used to be to start a business. Again, access to resources in terms of information, just being here on this channel, subscribing to this channel, you would have access to hundreds of videos that will literally walk you through step by step what you need to do to start a business, from all of the logistical things that you need to do to, again, networking and marketing, to actually making a sale and collecting money and having customer service with your clients. And there's more information than ever before. And also, the bad side of that is that not all information is good or trustworthy. So we have to pay more attention to kind of weed through, sift through all of the noise and make sure that the information that we're gathering is helpful and productive to our next step. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. The third reason why I think it's easier than ever before is that you literally, when you decide to start a business on the internet, you have a worldwide market. So a lot of people would come into the Free Mama early on. They'd be like, I want to figure out how to make legitimate money from home. I don't want to do, the network marketing thing. I this was kind of before COVID and remote work, but even with remote work, you're still an employee, you're still on someone else's timeline, so there's not as much flexibility as starting your own online business. And they'd be like, but I'm from a small town, or I don't know a lot of people. I don't have this big network. Maybe I didn't go to college. All of these things that we can look like it's a barrier, but it's really not in the online space. I have worked with people from New Zealand to Israel. I'm still friends with those people. And yes, we have things like time zones that we have to take into consideration, but we are all so interconnected in this global market because of the internet. So you don't have to be from a town where there's, this booming business industry happening. You can make connections with people anywhere, which is really, really cool. And using things like Zoom, which is what I'm streaming from right now, it makes it easier than ever before for you to meet with those people and build real relationships. A lot of my closest friends are actually people that I started in connection with on the internet, which is pretty cool. So it's also another reason that you should consider starting an online business if you haven't already, is the low startup costs. It is so incredibly affordable. And I'm going to share with you something here in a couple of minutes that makes it even easier. But I've already name dropped some of the things that I use, but things like Zoom, which you can have a free account, things like calendar booking softwares, like I use Calendly, and there's other ones out there. And so many of these tools have free ways to get started. And that's not going to be the best plan to carry you on forever and ever. But really, the barrier for entry to start an online business is so low, especially as a service provider. So I want to clear up, like, I specialize in training and coaching and working with service providers, meaning someone is paying you money and you are providing some sort of service, whether that is technical work or administrative work or design work or even consulting or coaching work. That is the thing that you're providing to your clients. This is very different than the world of e-commerce, where you're going to have inventory and product and even things like drop shipping. I would argue the fastest path to cash on the internet, the biggest bang for your buck with no overhead to worry about, is being a service provider. I also do not claim to be an expert in the other side of things at all. The one thing that would maybe make it harder to be a service provider is that you can't build this business in secret. Arguably, you could build an e-commerce business and never ever talk to anyone or show your face at all. So if that's your jam, that's cool. Probably not the channel for you. But if you're okay with having people in your life, then I think it's not only the fastest path to cash, but the startup costs are very close to zero. And so the barrier for entry is super low, and your expenses are also going to be very, very close to zero, which means your profitability percentage is going to be very high. So I cannot recommend looking into freelancing if you are looking to take control of your financial future and start an online business in 2024. And the last reason why I think it's easier than ever before and why it is something that you should definitely look into doing if you haven't already, or if you are on your way, but maybe you're feeling stuck or you're frustrated or you're like, oh, it's not taking off yet, Lauren, what do I need to do? Number one, leave me a comment so I can coach you. Number two is the flexibility. So yes, you are still providing a service, you're still working, but you get all of the control that you don't get as an employee. So what do I mean by that? As a contractor, legally, you set your own hours. Your clients cannot set your hours. That is the definition of an employee in the eyes of the government. I live in the United States. I'm sure it varies slightly by country, but that's a pretty firm line. So you get to set your hours that you're working. You get to decide how much or little you work. I have people who come into the Free Mama community who have a goal of making $1,000 a month to help, pay off debt or pay some bills for their family. And then I have other Free Mamas who are like, I want to earn $1 million, and they've done that. So the scope of what you can accomplish when you start your own online business is so huge, and it's so customizable to what you're looking for. in your family and in your life and to fulfill you, both financially, but also within your career and the work that you do and the purpose that you provide in the world. So there's so much flexibility of time because you're in control of it, flexibility of the services you provide. You get to decide. And I know a lot of people struggle with choosing their niche, but I have some ways that I can help you make that not so difficult. And you get to set your pricing. And again, I have ways on this channel on Free Mama TV. So make sure you subscribe, do some searching, tons of videos on how to set your pricing and the different pricing models that exist in online businesses for you to take a look at and see which one resonates best with you, and ways to raise your rates. So you have the flexibility to give yourself a raise anytime you want when you are an online business owner. And you can't do that in most jobs. So it's pretty cool. Again, you can do it from anywhere. I'm actually live streaming to you from our RV. Like I said, I've been self-employed for about a decade, running the Free Mama for about 7, I guess we're really coming up almost on 8 years now. And as of almost a year ago, my family decided to start traveling full time. We live in an RV. We've been to 23 states just since we left last summer. As a family, we've, I think, been to 39 through all of the traveling we've been able to do, which we're only able to do because my husband and I are both self-employed running virtual businesses. So it truly is a lifestyle changing pursuit that can not only do more than pay the bills, but it can also give you the lifestyle freedom that you might be looking for. So, in the spirit of transparency, before I get to the thing that I want to celebrate and share with you guys, I want to be honest with you that in some ways it's also a little bit harder right now. So, the first is it's gotten a lot more popular. We saw a huge surge in 2020 of virtual and remote work. So, there's more opportunity online now than ever before. So, what does that mean for you? Well, it means that you're never really late. So, there's still kind of a silver lining here. There's always new software, there's always new platforms, there's always new tactics and things that are working. So anytime you decide to start an online business, you're never too far behind as far as experience goes because it's a really fast moving industry. However, because there is some market saturation, it also means that you need to know what you're doing to stand out. So following a channel like this, figuring out who can be your mentor or coach, making sure we're kind of siphoning through all of those resources and all of that information and really getting to the point about what's going to be effective. And we're not just kind of wasting time dabbling in all of the things, thinking we have to know everything, waiting for everything to be perfect. That sort of mindset, that mentality, that will keep you stuck. Whereas you really need, the strategic steps forward in a clear way for you to be able to blast through the noise and reach your financial goals. A result of market saturation and more people being online is that people also have higher customer service expectations. So what does that look like? It means that you need to invest in your skills, you guys. You can't just like show up and, think that that's enough. You really have to focus on getting a return on investment for your clients, whether you're working as a virtual assistant or a copywriter or a bookkeeper. It's important that you're investing in learning what you're doing, which also means you should pick a service or a niche or an industry that you care about. And again, I have some resources to help you do this. We have a quiz. I have tons of videos on this channel. So if that's something that you're interested in looking for support with, let me know. But just be mindful that your customers have expectations. The same way when you hire someone, you make any sort of investment, whether it's a babysitter or an Amazon order or whatever it is, like you have an expectation, so do your clients. So make sure you're investing in your skill sets and make sure that you're doing what you say you're going to do. Again, part of what makes it harder, a lot of these are like pros and cons on each side, right? There's a silver lining to everything, but everything's always evolving. So while that's good news, if you're brand new to starting an online business, for us old grandmas like me, it means that we've got to keep up with stuff. Algorithms on social media change, tactics change. There's new players coming into the industry, meaning both new business owners, but also new platforms that kind of shake things up a little bit. Sometimes they work and they take off, and sometimes they don't, and they end up being a really big time suck and a distraction for some people. But it makes it tricky because for both consumers and business owners, our attention span has gone down. So it's something that we have to work at online because there's so many opportunities online for people to be bombarded with different messages. So it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, and we have to find that sweet spot where we fit in and we make some noise in the middle. Right now, 2024, the reason that you might be watching this video and considering starting an online business is it's banana pants out there. Like 2024, we are still having these lingering economic factors. We still have people getting laid off from work. We have prices of everything skyrocketing like crazy. So you might be here because you're looking to make more money. You need to contribute more to your family's finances right now. The flip side of that is that some businesses are not going to survive the economic impact. It also means that consumers for a lot of online businesses are down. People are taking longer to make decisions because they're having to prioritize other things like maybe groceries for their family. So there's always, again, this sort of double-edged sword where there's opportunity, there's also disadvantage, both. And so you have to sort of step back from yourself and get this 360 view of like, where is the opportunity and where can I insert myself here? And what happens is it requires a lot of us to pivot. A lot of people and business owners will have to pivot so that they can find that opportunity. And when we don't, sometimes that means that not everybody survives in the business sense. So pay attention to those economic factors if you're starting an online business. Where are you seeing a lot of opportunity right now? Meaning, what looks to be really taking off? What are the things that you're buying online? And is there opportunity in that industry for them to hire a contractor or a freelancer like you to help with certain things? And so as you can see, like there's just so much going on in the online space, but it is amazing. Like I have this camera in this computer and I'm able to broadcast to all of you and support you with your online business, create revenue for my family, provide for my family. Again, not a flash in the pan. I've been self-employed almost for a decade. And so this past year, right when we left on our RV trip, I started a new project and it is called Start an Online Business. And it is, drum roll, it is my new book, which I'm super excited about because I actually did not have a lot of fanfare when this book came out. It's my second book. We made this huge ta-da over my first book, which is called The Free Mama, which you can find both of these over on Amazon, by the way. But my first book is like my heart and soul. It was my journey. It was why starting an online business was important to me. And yes, I definitely have some tactical information for you. But when I left on my RV trip, I really thought about like, how can I make starting an online business easier for more people than ever before? Because again, there's so many distractions online. There's so much information out there, but not everybody has the track record of supporting tens of thousands of people starting freelancing. Not everybody has the track record of helping their clients earn millions of dollars over the last 6 years. And that's just a sample size from 3% of our audience. So I want you guys to have access to things that are actually working. So what I've been working on for the last 9 months is putting together my framework. So the Free Mama, it used to be a course, and this is basically the transcribed version of my program that those tens of thousands of women walked through to start their business. And you can find it for $15 on Amazon. So if you are thinking about starting an online business in 2024 and you do not have a lot of money to figure it out, this is the number one thing that I would recommend you investing in. And I'm going to tell you exactly what to do inside of this, but there's no fluff. No fluff at all. This is all direct information from my program. And I walk you through my freedom framework. And if you're new to me and you don't know what that is, where have you been? Make sure you subscribe and join our Facebook group, which is a community of over 45,000 women working together. I'm trying to find my acronym for you guys. I was going to show you a little visual. So you can see freedom is a framework. Hopefully you see that. And this book walks you through the entire thing. So F stands for foundation. So what are you going to get when you read this book? Foundation is going to walk you through the logistical things you need to have set up. Like I mentioned, most of them are free or have a free version. The number one thing that I recommend that you getting if you're going to start an online business that will cost money right out the gate is Google Workplace. So when you do this, you're going to get access to a professional email, Like, so you're not going to be sending it from like hotgirl38@gmail.com, which isn't very professional. But the good news is it's the cost of like two Starbucks drinks a month. So it's very inexpensive. And I literally tell you exactly how to do that. We're going to talk about how to choose your services, how to set your pricing. I'm going to walk you through all of these things very specifically, and what you need for an online presence, how to make sure that your social media makes you look professional when you're online and not, again, like if somebody Googles you, what are they going to find? Are they going to want to hire you? And again, I'm going to tell you step by step exactly what to do. Then we go into relationships. So people do business with people, and I want to teach you how to meet and network with other business owners. So that's what we're going to talk about doing. How do you build those relationships? Sometimes that's in person, but for a lot of us, especially if you're a busy mom, like I am, like I especially was when I first got started and had toddlers, you don't have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of energy, and you definitely don't have the capacity to go to networking events multiple times a week. And so there are strategies that you can use to meet other business owners online that I walk you through inside of this book. The first E in freedom stands for exposure. And this is how you put yourself out there online. This is how we start to market our business. And one of the chapters in that section is called A Marketing Plan for Non-Marketers. If you don't know me, yes, I have maybe been in business for a decade, but I did not study business. I studied political science in college and religion and Spanish. Yet here we are. So I did not go get a marketing degree, and yet I've figured a few things out that I want to share with you that make it, again, very quick and very easy, but do require effort and they require consistency, most importantly. So I show you how to make that really easy. The second E is for expertise. Remember, I told you that one of the hardest parts about starting a business in 2024 are those high customer expectations. That's what we're going to talk about with expertise. When do you need to invest in your skills? What does that look like? And how do you position yourself so that people choose you, when we also talked about that there's some market saturation? There's a lot of people starting an online business right now. So what can you do to actually stand out? I'm going to tell you in that section. Then we talk about discipline, because I think that there are a lot of wonderful business books out there, but not a lot of wonderful business books that were written specifically for busy moms like you and like me. So in discipline, we're going to talk about how we do that consistency that I talked about. It's not a hobby. This is something that can change your life. We have had six-figure awards, $1 million awards. These are free mamas who, many of them started by finding this YouTube channel or by seeing a Facebook ad. They knew nothing about freelancing. And yet, in a matter of years, not like decades, years, they went from no business at all to 6 and 7-figure businesses. It is 100% possible, but it really requires you to know what to focus on and when. And that's what we're going to talk about in that section, and how to do it, not learning from the bro marketers online who either are single or their wives stay home and take care of the kids full time, which that's amazing. But I am the primary parent in my family. So how do I build a business while still prioritizing the people that I need to love and take care of? And now I homeschool and do other things as well. So it's really written through that lens that I hope resonates with you. O in freedom stands for overcoming obstacles. This is both the stuff between the ears, which we talked about at the very beginning. So any limiting beliefs, any doubts, any fears, but also some of the obstacles that show up are with clients. Once you actually start doing the work, you start your business, you're fulfilling things. Like I said, people do business with people, but people are messy. So how do we make sure that we are having strong communication and expectations and boundaries and healthy relationships, professional relationships with our clients? And I talk you through a lot of different scenarios and exactly how you can handle them inside of that section. And the final section of the book is M in freedom, which M stands for momentum. Again, I do not want to help people build something that's a flash in the pan. If you have a quick money problem, starting an online business might not be the best way to solve that. I'm just going to be honest with you. I would go sell something that I own. That's going to be a lot faster. Or maybe you pick up some like Uber shifts or something like that. I want to help people who want to start an online business to really change the trajectory of their life. Starting a business is hard. It's also awesome. It's also way simpler than people make it, but it does require effort. And also, it can totally change your life. I went from having a lot of debt and a lot of stress and really feeling a lot of guilt working full time outside of the home when I had my first two kids to now literally homeschooling, not having any debt at all, traveling full time, and feeling very financially secure in less than 10 years. And really, it was probably closer to like five, but I included the RV trip. Like, I want you to think about if you're willing to take those steps today, the first step today, think about your life 2, 5, 10 years from now and how different it could be if you just start making a series of different choices today than what feels comfortable or what feels safe to you right now. And I just hope that that inspires you to pursue a different trajectory, one that maybe you want more, one that you get more excited about, one that is more in alignment with your potential and your dreams and your desires. And again, I have spent the RV trip writing this book to help you do that, to make it as accessible for people as possible, to know the exact steps to get started freelancing. So I will include a link once this live video calibrates so that you guys can go check it out. But you can go over to YouTube. You can either search my name or search Start an Online Business, the proven step-by-step guide for moms to craft a flexible career through freelancing. You can also check out my other book called The Free Mama, but this is it's an awesome book too. I'm not going to lie. It's just much more storytelling. This is going to be your step-by-step guide to making sure that you build the business this year that you love. So thank you guys so much for tuning in on my first YouTube live in probably like 4 years. I'm so glad you guys were able to hop on with me. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the chat. Again, I will put that link there. And I hope that you guys enjoyed what we talked about today, and like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.